These NPN transistors are called 292 package dip NPN transistors. There's also another form called a PNP, and then there's a variety of types. There's also sizes. There's surface mount transistors, and they all mount differently, not like this, but there's also really small transistors that are much smaller than this by a lot, into the micro and nano regions of size. But these are also what we make processors out of. But it's really simple in theory what a transistor is. It's a special type of two different kinds of metal, of semiconductors and conductors, two different dissimilar metals across a piece of composite plastic, which forms a barrier of how we charge the composite plastic up or down, positive or negative, which is what an NPN or a PNP is. NPN stands for negative, positive, negative, which the base is the P in an NPN, which means you give it positive charge in order to make it allow the gate of the sandwiched material of the plastic up against the metal spacing on two different dissimilar metals on each side. The two ends are negative, which means they're just conductive, and the positive allows the gate to conduct current to allow the two ends to pass current, which is what a transistor switch amplifier does. As you change the rate of the P in an NPN of positive current, which is nuclear charge and light and magnetism that flows in as a voltage, when you charge this middle prong of these three prongs here, it allows the two ends to conduct in bidirectionally. This is called a BJT, a bijunction transistor, which means it'll flow in both directions, but actually one side conducts current more appropriately, and that's the collector. If you look on the flat face of this transistor, the collector is always to the right of an NPN, of a normal NPN, a 292 2N222 package. The collector is to the right, the base is in the middle, and the emitter is on the left. And you're looking at it in the ways that you would see it in reverse. Okay, so if you cross your hand across at an angle this is my left, to my left is actually the collector, because there's a thing in computer imaging where screens are flipped. When they take camera images, it's called mirror imaging, or flipping the image. When things get flipped around, or otherwise they look like your face value. There's face value cameras, and there's flipping the image. In this particular camera, I am currently looking at my left, which is mirror image. So basically, a PNP does the opposite. Except the truth is, the positive terminals on the outside are actually going to be positive, yes, but they're going to flow with negative current too, and the negative of a PNP is going to accept the negative terminal of, like, say, a battery, or negative energy, negative voltage of electrons. You could honestly get an electron beam and beam the end of a PNP, and it will tell you that it is conductive of electrons, and how you identify electrons through a PNP passive current. When the current is allowed to pass in a PNP, it means that electrons have been transmitted through the base, which is in the middle, typically. Not always. But they arrange these in different ways to accommodate for the molecular geometry of the mechanical functions, mechanical electrical functions of the chemistry. So there's different ways. There's also metal oxide semiconductors. There's a variety of others. There's weaker amplifiers that are much more sensitive. I made a few amplifiers. I made one out of a tri-phase diode transistor with a piece of plastic, a clear piece of plastic, and two pieces of aluminum on each side of the plastic that would act as like a capacitor, where the third piece of aluminum charged the length of the plastic, allowing the plastic to level up or down the current that passes through the two opposite sides of aluminum with the sandwiched piece of plastic in the middle. So what that does is allows current to pass through the plastic. When I apply current to the plastic, it allows it to pass through into the aluminum plates on each side, the two terminals, with a third terminal called the base. So it was simple. That's all it is. It's a composite piece of plastic, a special piece of plastic with two dissimilar metals on the end.